Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today is Wednesday, 17th August 2016. We start with our prayers. Narayanam namaskritya
Narayanam namaskritya
Naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam Tato jayamudirayet Nashta prayeshu bhadreshu Nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavatya uttama shloke Bhaktir bhavati naistiki Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya So we are in chapter 6 of the second canto. We finished half of it. The other half we'll do it today. So we'll take up one shloka. We are taking shloka number 38 from 6th chapter. Yasyavatar karmani Gayanti ya asmad adayah Nayam vidanti tatvena Tasmai bhagavate namaha Yasyavatar karmani Gayanti ya asmad adayah Nayam vidanti tatvena Tasmai bhagavate namaha Radhikaraman Prabhu.
Yasyavatar karmani
Yasyavatar karmani
Gayanti ha asmad adaya
Gayanti ya asmat adayah
Nayam vidanti tatavena
Nayam vidanti tatvena
Tasmai bhagavate namaha.
Tasmai bhagavate namaha. Thank you. Yasya whose Avatara incarnation Karmani activities Gayanti chant in glorification He indeed Asmat adayah persons like us Na do not Yam whom Vidanti no Tatvena sent person as he is Tasmai unto him Bhagavate unto the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna Namaha respectful obeisances Translation Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto that Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose incarnations and activities are chanted by us for glorification, though he can hardly be fully known as he is. Let us offer
Let us offer
our respectful obeisances
Our respectful obeisances
unto that Personality of Godhead,
unto that Supreme Personality of Godhead,
whose incarnations and activities
whose incarnations and activities
are chanted by us
are chanted by us
for glorification,
for glorification.
though
Though
he can hardly be fully known
we can hardly be
fully known
as he is.
as
Thank you. Please mute yourself. Very interesting information we'll get today about the creation, how Brahmaji got the inspiration from Krishna and how he used various parts of the body of the Virata Purusha. If you remember, Brahmaji did tapasya for 1000 years. When he heard the two words only, two letters actually, tapa, before he could get the audience of Krishna in his heart only, not even directly. So he was explaining about the creation. Now he'll explain about how he himself got involved in this. So he's telling Naraji. Naraji asked him the question, how did you manage to do all this, and who empowered you, and who is the superior authority? So Brahmaji makes it very clear that it is the Supreme Personality of God, Sri Krishna, who is the one who inspires him, who motivates him, who directs him, who instructs him, who guides him in his secondary job of creation. So he says, when I was born from the lotus which came out of the abdomen of the Mahavishnu, then he said, I was asked to do the tapasya, but I did not know, and I did not have any ingredients. When you want to do yajna, tapasya is also, he took it as a yajna, as a sacrifice. So for performing that, you need so many paraphernalia, right? When we do the homa at home or publicly also, we require so many things: havana kunda, the samagri, and ingredients, flowers, ghee, leaves, straw. All these things are required, and then a suitable altar. He said, I had nothing. And actually, the Vedas say that you should do this homa in a particular auspicious time. And Srila Prabhupada mentioned that, spring season is the best for yajna. Because the weather is nice, yajna used to be done in open, and it's not too much hot and not rain or not too much cold and things like that. So you use that particular season for doing the yajna. And then, of course, you require the pots and the large ladles and spoons. And then you need honey, gold. This is all in the past. Now nobody is using that. Water. And then you need the shlokas from the Vedas to chant. And generally, this yajna, the person who is offering is following the Yajur Veda, and the persons who are singing in the meter, in the raga, are called Udgatris. They chant from Sama Veda. And then it says that you require 4 priests, each representing different Veda. So, and then you are supposed to be chanting some mantras. And Brahmaji says the mantras also should glorify the Devatas. and specific views. I mean, hymns are there. And then because yagyas are different yagyas are there. It's not that only one yagya is there. But we as devotees understand that all the yagyas are done for only Vishnu, Krishna. So he says, I had to arrange all these ingredients. Nothing was available. Then from where? So he just used the personal body, the personality of God, bodily parts. And then from there he got each of those things. And then he just chanted the invocation of the names of the Devatas and the Devis. And then finally, of course, he himself says that, finally I had to chant the glories of Lord Vishnu. Slowly, gradually attend that. And then this way, he says, I could complete my offerings, oblations to the yagya. So that he says he created all these ingredients from the different parts of the body of the Mahavishnu. And then everything is done to satisfy the Lord. That is the whole idea of yagya. But now we do yagya for getting a child or wealth or this or that, something, material problems. So we do yagya so that we can get in there. Because there are people are also doing it, nobody. And then we have all these different pujas we do. Satyanarayana Vrata and Sankashti and this and that, so many are there. Especially the Matajis in India and also here, they have so many fasting days. Sometimes they just fast the whole, Monday is for Lord Shiva, Tuesday is for Lord Hanumanji, then Wednesday is one which is generally not for anybody. Then Guruvar is for some, in South they will do it for, Raghavendra Swami. Somebody does it for a different reason. Then Shukravar is for this, some Devi. The Saturday again comes for Shani and Hanumanji and all, then Surya. Like that, and then Ekadashi comes, and the Purnima comes, and the Sankashti comes, and then this, and then Vatavrata, and then series of austerities are already there in our system. So Brahmaji just continues to talk to Narada Muni, and he says, you and your brothers, who are the masters of living creatures, so they also perform the sacrifice with me, proper rituals. So he says, they just did it for satisfying the Lord. And then after that, Manus, the father of the mankind, the great sages, the Pitras, the various scholars, Daityas, mankind, they all started performing the sacrifices. So he says, therefore you should understand that all these material manifestations that you are seeing in the universe are all situated in the powerful material energy of the Lord. And he says, he has no affinity. This is again, wonderful thing about reminder. How many times Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita remind us that although Krishna creates everything, he's the master of everything, but he has nothing to do with it. He's totally, he's a sannyasi. He's the most renowned, right? In the 6 opulences we talk of, one of the opulences is most renowned. So this way, and that's why he is able to be the God, like otherwise he gets involved and there's a problem, partiality, this, that. So he doesn't want to. He says, I have nothing to do. He says, I have nothing to do with your karma, I have nothing to do with anything. I'm just self-sufficient. And everything you do is for yourself. That also requires sanction by him. And then Brahmaji says, so he by the will of Krishna, he delegated some authorities to us. He says, I was asked to create, and then Lord Vishnu is maintaining, and Lord Shiva is destroying, annihilating. So He says he is the powerful controller of all these three energies. It's very, very clear. So no ambiguity. Brahmaji is declaring here in Srimad Bhagavatam. So then he says, okay, my son, I already explained to you now so many things, how things started. I told you about the Purusha avatars. And you should again know that everything is dependent on the Supreme Personality of God. Nothing is independent. No one, including the great Devis and Devatas. And then he's again, he's saying, whatever I'm saying is not false. Why? Because I have taken the shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of God. See? So he says, by that, because I have that power, I have that blessing, I have that mercy. So whatever I'm saying, it has never been proven that it is false. It is again, one thing is saying something, other thing is proving something. And then he says, I have never ever deviated from the determination of creating this as per the orders. And my senses have never been attached to the temporary matter. Of course, there are some instances in the history where Brahmaji gets a little attracted to something different. But that's again to teach us a lesson that, in the path of devotion, all these obstacles sometime will come. So we have to cross them. That can again happen by taking the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So now he's now saying, see, all the people call me as a great Brahma. They say that, oh, you got the Vedas directly from Krishna. And he says, although I have undergone all austerities, and I've become an expert in mystic powers. And although I'm recognized by everybody as that, and they offer me respectful obeisances also, still, with all that qualification that I have, I cannot understand who is Krishna. The very source of my birth, I can't understand him fully. So why bother about that? Is it? Why? Sometimes we say, oh, if I can't understand Krishna, so let me not worship him. I don't know Krishna. So why should I worship? So we have to follow Brahma's example. He says, therefore, since I don't know him, it is best for me to surrender. Because he only can deliver me, he only can guide me, he can take me out of this cycle of birth and death. And this is all very, very auspicious. Shubha. Surrender to Krishna is Shubha. And then he says you can get the, much, much higher happiness than Brahmananda. You cannot, he says, like the sky cannot estimate its own expansion, right? Cannot estimate how far the sky goes. So he says, when sky cannot understand, so Krishna himself also sometimes doesn't understand his own powers, his own limits, how is unable to estimate his own limits. So what to talk of? He says, even Lord Shiva, nor I, nor you, how can we even measure this happiness of serving him? And then what about the Devatas? And then what about the human beings? Everybody is under the spell of either Maya or Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya is for the devotees and Maya is for the non-devotees. So he says, we can see this whole cosmic manifestation according to our own limited capacity, ability, right? We can perceive something like this. Oh, it could be like that, it could be like that. But it's all useless. That endeavor is useless because we don't know. And then today's shloka that came, 38, which we have read, that all his avatars are being glorified, right? We have, of course, we said Dasha Avatara, but the 24 avatars in as per Bhagavatam, which is going to come now very soon. Very interesting. So he says, his first plenary portion, first expansion is Sankarshana, and from there comes the Purusha avatars. Tomorrow is, of course, Balaram Jayanti. So we'll see. We'll try to discuss something about Lord Balaram, and especially in relation to these expansions. So he says, this Mahavishnu, although he is also unborn, just expansion of Krishna, the whole creation takes place in him. The Mahatattva. So he says, he maintains that for some time, for his one breath out is maintained, then it goes in. Then again inside he doesn't have to do anything, everything is there, dormant. So again, see, devotees, again we have to learn from Lord Brahma one thing is, it's not that one time you glorify and then you say, okay, I've done my job, I glorified Krishna, I said Hare Krishna, I said you are great, you are this. No. He keeps on coming back to that point. He has no beginning, he has no end, and then you can know him only when you are completely free from all material hankerings. So till that time, don't even expect that you will know him. And then again, you will know only some of him, not everything. So he says there's no point in going on arguing about who is Krishna. It's just waste of time. The only way is to surrender. That's all. And then this Mahavishnu or Karanavashai Vishnu, the first incarnation. And he is the master of time, space, cause and effects, mind, the elements, material ego, the modes of nature, the senses, everything. Then he is even the Lord of Garbhodakshay Vishnu, who expands into Garbhodakshay Vishnu, who enters into each planet, each of the universes. And then again, remember I talked about the various big list of all that were generated. So again he says, I, Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, Daksha, Prajapatis, yourself, Kumaras, Indra, Chandra and all other devatas, Bhurloka planet leaders, earthly planet leaders, lower planet leaders, everybody, Gandharva, Vidyadhara, Charana Loka, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Urgas, everybody, they are those who are having all these powers and strength and so on. They all look like, they're so powerful, but actually they are not. All of them are powerful in their own way, but still they are nothing. He said they are a fragment of the transcendental potency of the Lord. That Krishna also declares that in the Bhagavad Gita, right? He says all this splendor, all that you are seeing is only a fraction of a part of me. So Brahmaji just confirmed that. And so he says, okay, now I will tell you about this Leela avatars. Of course, Kshirodaksha Vishnu enters as super soul in every living entity. So he says, I will now narrate to you the Leela avatars, the 24 avatars I was talking about. So all the contamination will go from your heart when you learn about that. Very pleasing to hear. And everybody relishes them. And that's why he says they're all in my heart, and I'm going to talk to you about that. The different avatars, we saw that, Purusha avatars, Leela avatars, Guna avatars, Ansha avatars, Yuga avatars, Shakti-Avesh avatars. All these are coming from only one avatari. Now, of course, people are discovering different avataris in the world. They are claiming that so and so is avatari, but we just go by scriptures. And we have no ambiguity about that. Okay. So thank you very much. I'd like to stop here. If you have any questions, comments, we can take it up. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I've been listening to your recordings. Please forgive me if I've not heard. According to you, I think you told that, and you just mentioned now that Karano Dakshai, Vishnu is nothing but the expansion of Krishna, right?
Right.
So at the soul level, what do you mean by expansion?
Expansion means Krishna never leaves his Goloka Vrindavan.
Okay.
Now, when he has to do the job of a Mahavishnu, so that is an expansion. That means he creates sort of, expansion is like one more creation of his, who is taking care of a particular task. That is what is meant by expansion. See, avatars are also can be taken as expansion, because when we say expansion, it means that you still are there. See, like there is a headquarter. Let me explain this way. Just take a multinational company, okay? And they have a headquarter in one particular place. Let's say they have a headquarter in New York. And then they expand. So they have different branches all over US and all over the world, different continents and all that. But they remain there, right?
Yes.
That's what it means by that. That it's okay, that Krishna doesn't change. Expansion means one more attribute, one more. Of course, Krishna, here we're talking of personalities. All these are personalities. Expansions are personalities. They're all been given a specific task to perform. They're all doing it perfectly. For what? To please Krishna. So ultimately the goal is to please Krishna. So Devatas are also doing same. Devi Devatas are doing same. The Purusha Avatars are doing the same. And then, so it is our duty as human beings, so also to do the same, because, if you want to, and they're all happily doing, nobody is doing it grudgingly, like is one way. The only difference between, when I say all this expansion, I gave the example of this multinational company. Not that all the people who are working for it are doing it happily, because there are some ulterior motives. Somebody is doing it for money, somebody is doing it for power, somebody is doing it for security, and so on and so forth, right? But when we do it for Krishna, then we do it ahetuki, no expectations. Then only we can enjoy. Otherwise, the moment there is an expectation and expectations fails, even by 1% or 2%, we still get dissatisfied. But if you do it without motivation, like Brahma ji is saying, I'm just doing it. Although Brahma's position and our position, there's a huge difference. For that matter, all the Devi Devatas, they are empowered, and they got much more power than us, much more facilities than us. But still, we don't have those facilities, but we can still do it, whatever little we can do. So I hope you understand expansion now.
Yeah, and I think the scripture is trying to tell to actually praise the source. That is a headquarter.
Right, absolutely.
Okay. So you just have to concentrate.
Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma says the same thing. Every shloka ends with Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. Govinda is the Adi Purusha, is the original.
Okay.
That goes without any doubt. And that's why here Brahmaji says, because I am following his footsteps and taken shelter there, so whatever I am saying and whatever I am doing, I have nothing to worry, because everything will be true. It has been proven true also. There's no. Can anybody find out any fault in Brahma's creation? I mean, I don't know whether you heard this joke about Brahma's creation. There's one person, atheist, he made a devotee, somewhere. And the devotee, as should be done, started glorifying Krishna. And then he says, thank you, Krishna, for providing me water, air, everything. He just was talking like that. And that's atheists say, oh, he's not providing anything. Why you are praising him? He's not. He says, what did he do? The devotee says, he created, the whole cosmic manifestation is his creation. So this atheist says, oh, what kind of a creation is this? Everything is mismatch. And devotee says, no. It cannot be. So, as they're talking, they're actually standing under a banyan tree. So this atheist said, look, for example, I'll just give an example how his creation is not good, not perfect. He said, look at this banyan tree. Such a huge tree, and look at the fruits, small, little, tiny fruits. And he says, a watermelon, the creeper is so, fragile. A huge watermelon on the creeper, or anything, cantaloupe, watermelon, whatever. The devotee says, no, there is some purpose for that. And this fellow doesn't agree. In the meanwhile, what happened? They're standing there, some crow on the top of the tree. He plucks one fruit of the banyan tree. And that fruit comes and falls on this atheist's nose. So this devotee says, at least now you should accept that he is perfect. So how? He says, imagine now the watermelon was there up and it had fallen on your nose. What would have happened to you? So he says, his creation is always perfect. Don't worry about that.
That was so funny. Thanks, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mata. Okay, anybody else has any question, comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Saying about the Satyanarayan Vrat, usually people do in India.
Right.
So that story goes that in the end, when that lady doesn't consume the prasadam,
Yes.
so his husband drowns. So how that can be, one of my friends was asking how God can do this. God is all merciful. How can we say this? He did all puja, she did all puja, everything, just the prasadam she didn't took. So why so?
See, the process of puja includes honoring the prasadam. The problem is we don't eat prasadam, We honor prasadam. And not accepting the prasadam is like a disrespect, right? And the God is doing it only for teaching a lesson, He didn't do any harm to that lady anyway. If you see at the end, when she accepted the prasadam, she realized her mistake and did it. So what does the God do?
Mm-hmm.
It's not that, okay, now you've done it forever, now you will never get, all that is not there. This is just all these stories are for what? If you say Satyanarayan story. See, I also do Satyanarayan Katha generally, but my Katha starts only after this Katha ends. Because nowhere it will be that only for the material gains you do it.
Yeah.
If you remember, it says at the end, they all enjoyed the Swargaloka and then went back to Krishna. So unless you become a devotee, by this process, this is one process of making somebody a devotee. It's not that that's the only process. Sometimes people, when they get things done, they become happy, and then in their life they say, okay, they somehow become devotee. So Satyanarayan Katha, generally what is being followed is for the material gains only. But as a devotee, we go further than that. Okay, if this can bring in some sort of, because example is, you don't want to invite poverty on yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's also one way of austerity. like Jada Bharata and all that. But that requires a lot of purity, a lot of determination. How many of us will do that? But by becoming rich, you want to become a devotee. That's a good idea, right? So these Puranic kathas are all for attracting people to some sort of devotion.
Okay.
Because otherwise, anyway, people are doing what they are doing, irrespective, right?
Yes.
But by following these some little things, at least you are having some, remembering God sometime. And Krishna says, I am indebted to anybody who remembers me even once. So you can imagine. So now you tell me, is the God merciful or not?
Yes.
So if you see from a devotee's point of view, everything will be perfectly explained. If you think from a business point of view, it may not sound very attractive sometimes because, oh, what is this? What punishment? It's not punishment. It's just like, mother punishing a child. Exactly like that. When the mother punishes a child, where does the child go?
To mother only.
Mother, right? Why? She's scolding him. She sometimes beats him. Where does he go?
Because he knows that, she loves.
Exactly. So devotee also knows. Devotee is like a mother's child. So devotee is Krishna's child. But those who are not, they will understand by getting something happening, some incidents in their life. A lot of time devotees ask me, Prabhuji, I'm doing this. Mataji says my husband is not doing. My husband says my wife is not doing. But I always say that time will come. Don't worry. You keep doing your thing. You don't stop serving your spouses. One day, by just your love and affection and Krishna's mercy, things will happen. Don't worry about it.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I had one small question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So in the Mahabharata, like, you were telling that, so all the characters were fully aware that Krishna was the incarnation and Balrama was the incarnation, and so they prayed to them according to the scriptures.
No, not necessary. Because they're all under the spell of Yoga Maya. Krishna didn't want it, he just wanted to, he revealed once or twice maybe, but he generally did not want, relationship will change. For example, if Krishna, the Gopas, his friends knew that he's a god, then will they be able to play with him, chor and all that, Will they be going with him to graze the cows in the forest? So it's not like that, they're this, and they were not incarnations, they are Bhagavan Swayam. That is one thing we have to understand. They are not incarnations. We somehow, under British influence, we started calling him the 8th Avatara and all that. That's why now when we start, hopefully tomorrow, the 24 avatars of Krishna, then you will understand. The avatar, he also comes as himself. That's the explanation, that he also comes as himself when the Vishnu expands again.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Some explanations required a very long, some questions require long explanations. So we can do it one-to-one if required. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.